Alright, so it's not freezing cold. It is stupid windy this week, and we do have some Arctic weather coming. So now that we're 637 days in on the transmission swap, because that guy down there, you know, kids, priorities, they have them in line, right? Anyhow, finally going to try and roll this thing under here and get it buttoned up. We did replace the oil pan gasket, we did replace the rear main seal, and yeah, so we've got it jacked up so we can roll it up under here, and hopefully by the end of what you're watching right now results in this truck moving again by itself, not being pushed or sitting here. Yeah, let's see what happens. Well, that's been a pain in the butt a little bit. All right. We've got the transmission all put up on the engine. Just need to tighten up all the bolts. Switch out these fittings, because the truck that this transmission came off of had the flared bolt-in style or nut style. Transmission that was on this truck has the oh shit clip fittings, which will take off every transmission. And going to get the torque converter bolts put in and finish tightening everything up, and yeah, it's moving right along. Finally maybe he can drive his own vehicle, and then we'll work on the next one, the Cummins, the head job. All right, be back. Oh no! Huh? So we got that finished. Got the transmission installed, right? Yep. So this one's done. Transmission swaps in and everything. What are we doing then now on this?
Taking the rear end off.
We're taking the rear end off. Why on earth are we taking the rear end off?
Because you were wrong and I was right.
Because I was wrong and you were right. Yes, people in the YouTube land, that's what happens. I'm human, and I made a pretty big mistake. This truck apparently did not have a bad transmission. I just went off what he said and really didn't check much, and we changed the transmission, or he changed transmission. That's yeah, it's crazy to think that I was that wrong. Not that I'm never wrong, but you know, that sucks. How do you feel about having your dad telling you that the transmission needed to be replaced and doing the transmission to find out that it wasn't bad?
He's got a lower mile.
He is correct. The transmission we did put in there does have about 100,000 miles less.
It was kind of beneficial.
But as long as it is still good, because all we know about it is that it did drive on a trailer and off. Even though it's got about 100,000 miles less, it could still be bad. Hopefully it's not. So, yeah, shame on me. Now, we're going to switch the rear end from this one to this one. And we either have a backup transmission or we have one for sale if you need one. But here comes the fun of doing the rear end swap. And he's getting life lessons about maybe we should extra check, and also extra knowledge on now doing a Trans Swap. Won't you come along while we get this part of it done on this beautiful windy 30-degree day. We got everything off on this one. The U-bolts, lower shock, the main brake line comes up to here, rear wheel speed sensor, emergency brake cables, those are off. Of course, the drive shaft was already off. So it's just sitting on a jack right now, waiting to come out. We'll leave it right there. Junior here is starting to disassemble this one, so we can get him switched out. Yeah, the U-bolts on there were really tight, and although there's a shop right there with air in it, it'd take him like a month and a half to swap the transmission, and I don't need more cars stuck in my shop. So by hand, on the ground, still in the cold, in the wind, all the joys of learning how it was when we were younger. So I'm gonna continue on with that one, and we'll catch up here in a minute. Where you at? What do you got left on this one?
One nut.
One nut, huh?
And taking the brake cable off.
You gotta take the brake line loose,
Yeah.
and the bottom of that shock.
Yeah.
Finish taking those U-bolt nuts off, and alright, cool. Just about there, huh? Almost time for a little switcheroo. So what else is gonna have to get switched for this one to go? We're gonna have to switch the motor next?
No.
No motor?
No.
Okay. Well,
Nothing.
fingers crossed. No motor.
Motor still runs.
It does still run, but when we drained the oil the other day, it wasn't too promising seeing antifreeze come out. No big deal. We'll just pretend like that didn't happen.
Yep.
All right, guys. We'll catch up once we're ready to switch them out. Never fails. Always something. Always. So, whenever you work on something, if you expect there to be surprises, they're not such a big deal when you get surprises. This truck has, this one anyhow, has a small lift on it. These blocks are like hardened plastic, and oh well, that centering pin, or that pin, is what helps keep the axle center. So essentially, like, this has a hole that would sit on that, and then the axle, this would go in the other hole, or down here, because the axle goes this way. So here's that pin that hole would sit in, and that holds that center, and then that pin that just fell off, which on both sides did that, would center the axle to the leaf spring and keep it center where it's supposed to be in the frame. So yeah, here it is, getting later in the evening, and no, the temperature is not increasing, and now having to make a mad dash to the parts store and get some blocks. At least they're still open. So yeah, that axle is over there, ready to go back on that. That's the bad one. This one is right here, We're ready to go underneath here once we get some blocks. Working on cars is fun. So when you have to send the kid to the parts store to get the parts that break that you weren't expecting to break, but you want to keep working and extra hands are helpful, well, you get the extra hands you have available. The wife and the daughter. She looks like a popsicle. Are you a Kelsey sickle?
Yeah.
So
I got both of those.
perfect.
Oh boy.
They just helped me with the jack and holding the rear end from rolling while we got it up on this truck. Uh-oh. And she got dirty. All right, and he's back, so now he can come back to work.
Okay.
Well, where did it go? Truck is gone. Someone stole it. Or did we fix it this time? There it is. It is running. Well, holy cow. It drives. Yay! It moves.
Yay!
Good to go? Alright, so you just replace the transmission and the differential to fix the differential, and then it's good to go. So, alright, we're going to top off transmission fluid and call this one complete.